Hey guys, it's Mari here, and thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. I have another 12 by 12 scrapbooking process video for you, and I'm going to be starting out with just some white cardstock, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of the packaging technique for my background using this really pretty Worn Lipstick Distress Oxide ink. So I'm going to just apply a little bit of that ink to a piece of packaging, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to it and then put that down onto my white cardstock. I have not treated my cardstock with any gesso. I'm just going to go right onto my cardstock with my ink, and I'm not going to be using much water or ink actually on this background, so I'm not too worried about the warping that's going to happen. In fact, I often find that if I apply a bunch of gesso to my background, sometimes it adds more warping than if I'm just going to be using a little bit of water and ink. So it really wasn't worth it for this layout, and so I just went right ahead onto my white cardstock. So you can see that I'm just adding a general area there onto my paper with that ink. This is the area where I'm going to have my photographs, and that'll be the focal point for the layout. I had a sort of a general idea of what I wanted to do for the design, for the layout, and so I just kind of had a good idea in my mind where I wanted that pink ink to go. Now, this is a product that I bought recently. It's a stencil from Echo Park, and it's called Modern Dot, and I really love it. I'm going to just apply a little bit of black soot distress ink here to the stencil. And this is kind of a color scheme or a pattern that's really popular in home decor right now. I don't know if you guys are Pinterest junkies like I am, but I really love looking at home decor on Pinterest. And what I've noticed lately is that there's a lot of really pale pink, a lot of white. White is really popular back. I think it's even kind of bumping gray down the um, popularity ladder a little bit. And I like the combination for this layout, and I'll show you the pattern paper here in a few minutes that I'm going to be using on my layout, but I really like how the color scheme works together that I've chosen here today. Now I'm going to just take a little bit of this aqua colored paper as a bit of a mat behind my photos, just because it will add a little pop of the blue or the blue green here and there, which is going to go along with my green and pink color scheme as I go. And I've also added a couple of really sweet little doodlebug doilies as a focal spot or a focal point as well, as part of where the photographs are going to go. So you can see that my photos are going to align with that black soot ink, and then the doilies are going to be opposite that. So that will all work together to help create the design that I'm going to be focusing on and working on here. So I'm going to just size my white cardstock down a little bit, just 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off all four sides just to keep the dimensions of where I have the focus point for the layout so that it doesn't sort of move that over to one side. And I'm going to take this really pretty pattern paper from Chasing Dreams from Crate Paper. I'm going to gut it, and I'm just going to use that black and white as a frame around my white cardstock, just because I really like how that brings that black from that stencil out in the layout as well. I think it just really adds a nice frame. So you can see that green and pink paper there that I keep shuffling around my desk. That is going to be the pattern paper that I'm going to be using on the layout. So my photographs I've printed in black and white. I've printed them in 3.5 by 3, so they're taller than they are wide. And I just had these two photos that I wanted to use. I wanted to print them in the same dimensions and then just kind of offset them on the layout where I have that ink and the doilies. So I'm going to just take my ATG here and adhere down that white paper to that black and white frame. And these are, like I said, the two photos that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to offset, and I like how I've aligned them with the black ink, and then the doilies kind of are helping to build the layers on either side of that. Now I really wanted to use gold accents on this layout, I just thought that that really complemented the black and pink nicely. So I'm going to fuss around here a little bit with some gold glitter paper. I don't actually end up using that as a layer on the photographs, just because I thought that it might be a little bit overpowering with the plan that I had for that gold glitter paper a little bit later on in the layout. So I decided that I wanted to then just maybe use a little bit of vellum paper with some gold foil in it as a layer behind my photos as well. So I'm only going to map my photos with these two papers then, with that aqua color paper and now with this vellum and gold foil paper. So I'm just going to use my scissors just to trim this up, and it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, to be honest with you, as long as you've kind of got it in line with your photographs, and nobody's ever going to notice if it's not 100% straight. I'm going to just trim these up, like I said, and the top photo I'm going to just stick down flat on the layout, and then the bottom photo I'm going to pop up on some foam just to give it a little more dimension so that it's not just flat on top of the other photograph. So I'm going to adhere that top photo with a little bit of liquid adhesive, just because it's going to be on that distress ink and the black soot ink, and the liquid glue will just help it be a little bit more permanent on the layout as opposed to the tape runner or the ATG. So I'm going to just use that craft foam on that bottom photograph there, as I said. And so there you can see that the stenciling and that black ink is sort of like the home where those two photographs are going to sit. Now this is the pattern paper that I mentioned before that was the inspiration for the color scheme for the layout. So this is a paper from Crepe Paper Oasis, and I'm not really a big pink and green girl when it comes to color schemes on my layouts, but I really liked it on this pattern paper. I thought it was really pretty, and it just kind of, I thought, went nicely with what I'm going to be documenting here. And that's a recent trip that Jordan and Paul took. They recently moved to Ontario, and where they're living, there's tons of things to do outdoors, which is pretty typical in Canada, generally speaking. And they ended up going and doing a lot of biking this weekend and exploring a conservation area and just doing a lot of really fun things outside. So I wanted to document that today. They have been so good about sending me photographs of the different things that they have been doing. I think that they recognize the fact that I am definitely having some anxiety with them being gone. So they've been just really, really good about sending me pictures and letting me know what they're doing. And I really appreciate that. So just documenting here this fun day that they had as they were spending a weekend together. I just am grabbing a bunch of stuff that's sitting on my desk at this point. This is some little clips that I recently got at Michael's. They're little recollections clips, and I love the pink and gold combo, and I just thought it was perfect for this layout. Even though it's a flamingo, they didn't go and see any flamingos. Flamingos really have nothing to do with this, except that they're birds and they're creatures. I suppose if you're in Florida or somewhere like that, you could see flamingos if you're at an island, but anyways, I just thought that it was cute, and it sort of went with the outdoorsy theme that I have going on in my photographs and what I'm documenting here. So all of the little chipboard pieces and the stickers that I'm using are from the Oasis collection from Crepe Paper. I love that collection. I love the color scheme and obviously just the summery nature of that collection, and it just fit what I wanted to do here with the pinks and golds and the greens perfectly. I also thought I might try to sneak a couple little cactus stickers in here from this Doodlebug sheet, but that doesn't work, so I just set those aside. And I did put a little wood button from Chamel and a little piece of gold die cut up at the top of the photos there. Like I said, some of this is just things that were sitting on my desk that I hadn't used for other layouts and wanted to get used up. So I'm just like taking a bunch of different things from the Oasis sticker sheet, trying them in different areas. I really like these puffy stickers from that same collection in gold. I'm going to use those for part of my title, which is the best. I'll try a few other things with that title, but what I end up sticking with is a chipboard sticker from the Oasis chipboard sheet that says weekend. And in my titles, I really kind of like to mix up the font. I like, one part of the title to be one font and another part to be another. And so you'll see that I change up the font a little bit in that title. So I'm going to settle with that one phrase sticker up by that wood button. I'm going to stick another little gold glittery sticker up there and just try to add a few little bits and pieces around the layout to make it look a little bit more interesting. I am going to do my journaling at the very end here using my computer, and I'm just going to cut my journaling into strips and stick that down on the side of my layout here. Now I really like this Let's Go sticker just because of the black. I thought that that looked really neat, but I thought that the font types were too matchy-matchy, and that's why I didn't end up leaving that one there. So there's that weekend chipboard piece that I was talking about. I really apologize for the lighting in this video. I have been watching and reading some information about filming with the iPhone 7. I have an iPhone 7 Plus. I'm not having a bunch of luck with the lighting. If you have any tips, please leave them down below. I would really appreciate that. I am going to try to do a face-to-face video as part of the Scrappy tag that's been going around later this week. If you have any questions for me for a bit of a Q&A at that time, make sure you leave them in the comments below, and I will try to get to that later this week. So this is a finished layout, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out my process today. I really, really appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.